All right, so welcome guys to Local Ocean Indoor Shrimp Farming Technology. And what you see on the picture is where we operate from in the Baltic states in Lithuania. And the reason why ultimately our technology grows shrimps, and it's a big business around the world. It's 25 million tons produced and sold of shrimps every year. Europe imports about 400,000 tons per year of frozen shrimps, mostly from Asia, but less than 100 tons is produced locally in Europe. So we thought that was a really good business opportunity, as well as also a very climate changing opportunities and helping saving the world, because shrimp aquaculture is basically taking the place of mangrove on the Asian and South America, and about 5,000 square kilometers of mangrove have been bulldozed to transform into what you see in the picture. It's about 700,000 football pitches of mangrove transformed into shrimp pond. Worst offender of all is the wild shrimping with trawlers, and the shrimping industry has the worst unwanted bycatch ratio and the worst and represent about 30% of all the dead fish that the fishery industry catches every year. It takes 5.7 kilo of dead fish to harvest 1 kilo of wild shrimp that you love. So we wanted to change that and bring it closer to the consumer. So in Lithuania, we built the farm and we set up our task to build an indoor, scalable, sustainable, and cost-efficient production solution. So hardware and software, answering many of the UN SDG goals, and also bringing fresh shrimps, not frozen, fresh shrimps to the European consumer for now. Status and team, we have a team of 9 people in various type of skill set. We've been at it for about 5 years, investing 2 million euros of our own money. And now our hardware and software is at TRL 5-6 status. It means that basically what we do works. So we build a farm, we build a prototype. Over the past 5 years, we failed miserably in trying to grow shrimp indoor because it's not being done cost efficiently, and it's not being done. There's no guideline. We had to invent many of the processes. So we've built a kind of standalone, scalable hardware solution with a specific architecture, as well as a software that manages all the production cycles. So we can produce on the same footprint about 130 kilos of shrimps per month, 130 kilos of shrimps per month. And the shrimps grows in a 100-day cycle compared to about 6 months in the traditional pond aquaculture outdoor. Yeah, so what you see here is a kind of prototype, one of our prototype. So it's a 2-stage, one is empty, the other one is full. And basically what you need to take away from it is just it works. It's low energy consumption, is high production, and we can produce it in Lithuania, which goes from minus 30 degrees in the winter to plus 30 degrees in the summer. So anywhere can we build shrimp farm using our tech. How we will make money? So we want to build and operate farms ourselves, and currently our shrimps are sold in national retailers in Lithuania, Maxima and Rimi, and Bitfood, which is a retailer for the Orica business. But first and foremost, we want to license our technology to other fish farms that wants to diversify, shrimp farms that want to have a cost-efficient way of producing shrimps, and then partner with industries and engineering company that specialize in building fish farms. The vision to become world leaders in indoor shrimp farming technology, and we're raising 700,000 euros at the moment. And we are supported by many blue investment accelerator and organizations around Europe. And we've just been also accepted to another blue fund right now. So open to questions.
Very good. Your time is up. Perfect timing on that one, Christoph. Let me bring in our other investors. It's super interesting what you guys are doing, especially as it's almost dinner time. One of the things, quick question. One of the quick questions I had just as I'm pulling everybody in, you said you're growing your shrimp 80 days faster, almost twice as fast. Are there any implications of that on health? I got to imagine if you're eating something that grows that fast, it's just getting fat real fast.
The thing is, the shrimps, you can feed it as much as you want. They're just going to keep on eating. They're eating a lot, always, all the time. So shrimps can grow very fast, like up to 3 grams per week. When they are like at a post-juvenile stage, teenager, let's say, like just normal human teenagers. When the shrimps are teenagers, they just eat all the time and they grow fast. But there is no implication on the health of the shrimps. We test them on a regular basis for signs of pathogens or diseases or things like that. And so far, we control everything, just all is fine. I mean, in laboratory, we get some people that can grow shrimps at 20 grams in 70 days in lab conditions. We grow at industrial scale between 100 and 120 days to 20 grams average.
Okay, I need to ask, how do you do it? I mean, what makes your shrimp growing process so different than others, and why is nobody else doing it?
It's nascent. The indoor shrimp farming is where the salmon indoor fish farming was 20 years ago. So it's just the beginning. We started to transition from outdoor because it's super cheap to grow it outdoor. I mean, you take a bulldozer, a piece of mangroves, you bulldoze everything, then you get some water from the sea. When the water is dirty, you put it back at sea, you don't care. And then you use people that you pay $5-10 a day maximum. So it's very cheap. This is why the shrimp are super cheap right now, but it costs the environment a great deal. And all the shrimps that you eat or you have ever eaten in Europe have been a frozen product. So we're bringing a kind of different kind of premium approach to the product, like better protein. I mean, we feed them with non-genetically modified cereals. It's currently, yes, fish flours, which is not very good for the environment. I get that, but we're testing insects flours at the moment, and we are testing also other source of protein for the shrimps. But our shrimps taste really nice.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm curious, you mentioned that you're doing some direct sales and also future you're going to license your tech. Can you talk through what the revenue split is currently and what you expect it to be in the future between those two?
Well, right now we're not selling the technology because we're TRL 5.6. Okay, so we have not packaged the technology fully in order to start selling it, which is in the horizon of 18 months from now will be good. So the shrimps that we sell right now, you also need to consider them as byproduct of us developing the technology. So we produce shrimps, and instead of basically throwing them away, we'd rather sell them right now. So we are R&D type of center. So 100% of our revenue stream is from shrimp selling, which is not a lot. It's less than 100,000 euros per year right now. But in the next 3-4 years, I would say it's going to be 70% shrimps, 30% technology. And in the next 7 to 10 years, it's going to be a 50-50 split, because we are going to license the tech. So building a shrimp farm costs several million euros, is CapEx intensive, let's say. So the first progress of the industry is going to take some time, but we saw this year 3 shrimp farms being funded in Europe, so they could potentially be our customers, and we receive calls on a regular basis from entrepreneurs that want to build a shrimp farm in Europe. So, but we have nothing to sell for now.
I think for me, the product, obviously, like, it's very clear, and the problem, you're solving. However, from a VC, from a venture capital perspective, I'm still wondering whether this is a VC case, whether essentially it is scaling enough, and whether you want a VC even, in your company, like what the value proposition of a venture capitalist would be versus, like, lending, your assets at the bank, and, like, raising more debt and just, like, growing, building another shrimp farm, where you're 100% of the company, and where you essentially, like, grow your own empire. Can you elaborate how a VC could help?
Money banks to the people who have lots of money. Okay, so you need collaterals in order to get loans and debt financing. So it's all easy. It's great to have debt because you don't dilute yourself. Is it a VC problematic? Well, you need to be into impact, and you need to also want to make a difference with your funds. It's not just about, like, the quick turnaround, like 3-5 years and then move on. It's a longer term type of investment that it's a nascent industry. We want to focus on the technology and the licensing of it. But yeah, this building its hardware is just not software. I've been in the software industry 20 years. I know what SaaS means and how scalable software are. This is a different game. We are changing the way shrimps are being produced closer to the consumer, and also long-term, maybe reversing the trend of destruction of mangroves, because they will become irrelevant.
How do you go ahead, Daniel?
No, I mean, the impact obviously on the sustainability side is clear. The only question is, how defensible is this technology of feeding shrimps a certain way? And I guess this is where we would have to understand more. I'm just saying, a VC, it becomes interesting for a VC if it's a very defensible.
We're not feeding them, we're just growing them in a different environment, and it's a different ways than fish farming indoor. Okay, we have different water, we have a different ways and approach to water, different architecture than concrete built tanks. It's completely movable and stackable, and it's a different approach.
Right, and all I'm saying is, it's going to be a consulting business, or is it a scalable product? It's more food for thought. It's like, nothing we have to answer today.
Pun intended. How do you see lab grown meat potentially becoming a competition? So a lot of people that would shift towards more sustainable meat sources may also shift towards more sustainable seafood. What do you think about that lab grown salmon, that lab grown steak? And how that's going to affect you? Exactly. Where do you see that if your time frame is 7 to 10 years?
It's still 25 million tons of shrimp being produced. So there's a lot of, I don't know about you, I'd rather eat a lot less, but eat a lot better. So it's a question of choice. You can eat proteins, lab grown shrimp, but that's not shrimp. It just look like shrimp, and the protein chemistry is of a shrimp, but that's not a shrimp. The texture is different. The taste, I haven't tried it, so I don't know what it tastes like, really. It's just getting into more sustainable farm to fork farming, is just making the product better, more locally grown, just eat better. You can eat lab food if you want, or you can eat frozen cheap food if you want. Some people make the other choice of buying locally grown food, and that's what we're offering with our scalable shrimp farming system.
That was my only question is, do you think they're doing it because the quality is better, or do you think they're doing it because they want to save the planet? And I would argue it's probably B, except for in certain instances.
It's a different way. It's a different approach. I mean, we're going to need these lab grown food for protein intake, but it's a long way before this replaces real grown food, I would say.
Understood.
Maybe one question, talk about long way and impact. So what is your assumption on how many shrimp farms will be deployed within the next year?
Okay, so I made the calculation with the current state of our technology, okay? To produce the 400,000 tons of shrimp European consume right now, we would need to build 800 farms of 20,000 square meters each, running about 300 of our systems and producing 500 tons per year each. So there is a lot of opportunities to build shrimp farms in Europe. The market is huge. And we are one of the 8 shrimp farms in Europe, and we are probably one of the 2 or 3 that actually are selling shrimps and actually can produce shrimps all year round right now.
But that would be for the demand of the current price point for shrimp, which is lower than, it's a bit lower because there's a lot of frozen shrimp, correct?
I mean, the price point we want to achieve once scaled up, I mean, from the calculation, we should arrive at a production cost of 15 euros per kilo. So the shrimp we currently see, like the most expensive tiger shrimps, are retailing in Europe about 27, 30 euros. So it could be done cost effectively.